On the road with the Wounded Warriors. This is Go Island.
Go Island is brought to you by German Auto Import Network.
I'm Mary Ruth Harris and you're watching Go Island. We are on location at Serious Coffee in Willow Point, just at the south end of Campbell River. And the reason we're here is that this is where the Wounded Warriors are leaving from this morning, heading on their journey down to Victoria. Yesterday they traveled all the way from Port Hardy to Campbell River. They're an amazing group. There are 8 individuals involved, 6 runners and 2 support team, and 5 of the 8 are still serving actively in the military and 3 are retired. Now, the reason that they're doing this run is to raise awareness around PTSD and mental health issues. And it's going to be an absolute privilege to talk to 2 of the runners later in the show after our first story. Now, coming up in today's show, Dan Kahn has a feature on the Red Hat Sirens of Souk. It's going to be hysterical. We also have an amazing artist profile from Port Alberni, which is really interesting. It's all about wood. It's very intricate, and it's really unbelievable to see what he does with these little pieces of wood. Of course, we do have an Olympian feature because the Olympics are still on. Yay, go Canada. Fabulous showing by the Canadian athletes. But we are going to start right here in Campbell River at the Maritime Heritage Centre. I'm Mary Ruth Harris, and we are on location today at Serious Coffee for the first part of the show as the Wounded Warriors carry through Campbell River and head down to Courtenay. Joining me now is Dan Bodden, who is the co-founder of the Wounded Warrior Run. Dan, how did you guys come up with the idea to do this?
One day back in late July, I've been at long distance running and endurance events a number of years myself, as well as Al Kobayashi, the other founder of this event. And he's my neighbor at the time. And we just got talking one day after a long run, just trading stories and spandex, so to speak, war stories. And there's an element of long distance running and training that is a little selfish in nature at times. That's not a criticism, that just is what it is. And we thought, you know what, after all these years of training and racing and everything, have it all be about us, why don't we do something for someone else? And so we found the Wounded Warrior cause to be something that was near and dear to our hearts, and that's kind of how it all happened, just at the end of the driveway.
Okay. Now, explain to our audience the premise of Wounded Warrior.
Sure.
And what you're trying to raise awareness about.
So Wounded Warriors Canada is a national nonprofit charity that deals with members of the Canadian Forces, current and retired men and women in uniform, struggling with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and other mental health issues related to their service to the country.
Okay.
So they provide, in addition to the normal treatment avenues available to them, the Wounded Warriors charity provides alternate avenues, extra modalities of treatment. Their services are completely laid out on their website. So we got in touch with them with this idea. They liked it, and here we are. Today's will be a relatively short leg of about 50 kilometers, roughly 9 to 10K for each runner, down into Courtenay Comox.
Yep.
From then on, the day after that, I'm losing track of my days here, so I'll just call it day 4, down into Nanaimo, which is another fairly long day, about 110 kilometers.
Okay.
Then the next day will find us in Shawnigan Lake Mill Bay area.
All right.
And then the last day, Friday the 21st, will be up and over the Malahat. And we're not just going to go to the finish line from there. We're going to do a loop completely around Victoria, including the Terry Fox statue at mile 0
Nice.
on Dallas Road there. Certainly stop and see, visit with the Legions and whatnot, with the finish line at Saunders Subaru in Colwood.
Okay.
Saunders Subaru, as well as obviously Serious Coffee here, have been very generous with their support of this event.
And now a feature on one of our Canadian Olympic athletes. I'm Mary Ruth Harris. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV's Channel 4. Joining me now is another one of the runners. This is Alan Kobayashi. And Alan, what is your motivation to do this?
I was diagnosed 8 years ago with post-traumatic stress disorder. So when myself and the co-founder, Dan Bodden, decided to come up with this event, It was because I was so absolutely passionate about raising awareness because I know the difficulties faced with a lot of people with the post-traumatic stress disorder.
Okay. Do you feel that the general public, that the awareness is slowly coming up?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You know, it's kind of been a long time coming, but yeah, I think the awareness is coming up. I think the awareness is twofold, and I think events like this is only increasing the actual public's awareness. But it's not just the awareness; it's the education that comes along with it. And I think it's the education that needs to be for at the forefront of events like this.
Okay, that's awesome. I know you guys are getting anxious to get out on the road again, so thank you so much for your time, and thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you so
I
much.
think
I
it's
appreciate
really
that.
Great. Okay. All right, and now we're going to have a look at this. I'm Mary Rutheris, and you are watching Go Island. We are on the highway. We are following the Wounded Warriors down to Courtenay. For right now, we're going to have a look at this amazing artist profile from Port Alberni about an artist who works completely in wood. I'm Mary Ruth Harris, and you're watching Go Island. We've been on the road today with the Wounded Warriors run from Port Hardy down to Courtenay. We are currently standing in the Courtenay Legion, and I have with me three very distinguished veterans. Hap Hansen, you are here from this branch. Tell me what it means to you for these young men to be doing this run.
That is what we're all about. The Royal Canadian Legion, we work for veterans. That's all we work for. And we are ecstatic that some of the people that are still serving would run and do this run for other veterans that are not so well off. And it is just a marvelous thing.
Now, Stu McKinnon, you're from the Comox Legion, which is where they're going to be heading next after they leave here.
That's right, yes.
And in your words and all the other veterans that you've been talking to, what's the sense on what you guys think about what they're doing?
Well, I don't know much about what they're doing it for, that actually whatever this disease is or what is going around. All I know is as a Legion member, and we look after not only veterans but their families as well. We look after kids, we look after just about anybody that needs help. That's our biggest thing.
All right, great. And John, PTSD is rampant right now. And I think it's always been there. It's just now they have a name for it. Yep. So what would you say the difference between your generation and this generation is around this particular illness?
They have a different name. Mm-hmm. At one time they were cowards. Mm-hmm. Then it was shell-shocked. And then it was battle fatigue.
Yeah.
And now it's PTSD. Okay? And they're finally putting a handle on it. And our government is starting to think, hey, maybe there is something here.
Okay.
The Legions were formed by veterans, for veterans, and we've had a handle on it ever since we were formed in 1926.
Okay.
And today, we now have one of the finest programs. It's called Transition Program for helping veterans with PTSD.
Okay.
It's a 10-day program, but it goes 2 days, 2 weeks away, 2 days, 2 weeks away, 2 days, and then 2 weeks away or whatever. And they're extremely successful.
Okay.
And it's supported 100% by the Legion. And our legions, all our legions, chip into it, and it's in British Columbia.
Okay, that's great. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me today. It really helps to have your input from your generation. And right now, we are going to head over to Victoria, down to Victoria, where Dan Kahn is going to join us with very special ladies in red hats.
We got a check for you. We got some food for you. And you're more than welcome to enjoy the hospitality. So lead the way, guys. On behalf of the Royal Canadian Legion Branch 17, Courtenay, BC, we'd like to present with the Wounded Warriors $1,000 and with our thanks and our appreciation for your help towards our veterans.
Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you very much.
I'm Mary Ruth Harris, and you've been watching Go Island on Shaw TV's Channel 4. Today we've been following the Wounded Warrior runners all the way from Campbell River down to Courtenay, and they are going to continue on from Courtenay over to Comox, and then tomorrow from Comox to Nanaimo, and the next day from Nanaimo to Shawnigan Lake, and then the next day from Shawnigan Lake to Victoria on Friday the 21st. It has been an awesome run for them in spite of the weather, and the Legion has just given them a check for $1,000 towards the Wounded Warriors Fund. So it's a great way to support them. So if you would like to donate, please go to the website that is appearing directly beneath me, and you can log on to that website and you can donate from there. There'll be phone numbers you can call, as well as a website where you can go to do that. So in the other good news today, here in the Comox Valley, over at the exhibition grounds at the curling rink, the BC Seniors Championship Curling has begun. And it's going to be on today, tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. It's going to be a blast. So if you are a curling fan, you better go check that out at the exhibition grounds. And in the meantime, stay dry. It's going to be wet and rainy and cold all week long. And I will see you on Friday. Thank you so much for watching.
Go Island is brought to you by German Auto Import Network.